In life, we've seen within this part of the world great people like Al-Khwarizmi, who invented algorithm. Globally, Newton, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Albert Einstein, and Elon Musk. See, you are in rush. You want to go to places that nobody has been. You are reinventing a certain industry, from the rocket industry with SpaceX to the car industry with Tesla. What is your life mission? What do you do whatever you do? So first of all, thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here, and I'm having a really great time with my kids in Dubai. It's really been fantastic. I really encourage anyone who has been to visit. What a great city. Thank you. And in terms of the motivations, I used to like this sort of kind of a long version of the explanation, but essentially, when I was a kid, I was wondering what is meaning of life, like why we are here, what it's all about, and I came to the conclusion that what really matters is trying to understand the right questions to ask, and the more that we can increase the scope and the scale of human consciousness, the better we're able to ask the questions. And so I think there are certain things that are necessary to ensure that the future is good. And some of the things are in the long term having long term sustainable transport and sustainable engineering generation, and to be a space exploring civilization, and for humanity to be out there among the stars and to multi-planetary species. I think that being a multi-planetary species and being out the among star is important for the long-term survival of humanity, and that's one reason kind of like ensure for life collectively, like I said, we know. But then the part of that, if I personally most of motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure, and it makes people excited about future. If you consider two futures, one where we are forever confined to Earth until eventually something terrible happens, or another future where we are other, uh, many planets maybe even go beyond the solar system. I think that space invasion incredibly exciting, inspiring, and there need to be reason to give up the morning. Life can just be about solving problems. Otherwise, what is the point? There's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living. What is life for you? I mean, you look at our life, and I heard you before speaking. It is that a dream? It is real? It is a million deal? What is life for Elon Musk? I find that as I get older, I find the questions to be maybe more and more confusion or troubling and or uncertain. Particularly when you see the advancement of something like video games. 40 years ago, you had video games, the most advanced video game would be like Pong, where you have two rectangles and a dot, and you're like batting it back and forth. And I play it, yeah, me too, exactly. It's a days of you a bit. Yeah, we both played the same game, and it was like pretty fun game at the time. But now, you can see the video game that are photorealistic, almost photorealistic, and millions of people play seamlessly. And you see where things are going virtual reality and augmented reality. If you extrapolate that out into the future, will it rely on processor on like keeping 0.1% of something like that a year? Then eventually those games will be indistinguishable from reality. They were so realistic, we're able to tell the difference between that game and reality as we know it. And then it seems like, wow, how do we know that that didn't happen in the past? And that we are not in one of those games also? Interesting, interesting. I mean, it could be everything possible in life. Particularly like things tend to be accelerating to something, isn't it? I mean, if we look at ourselves, it seems in the past 100 years, life has been accelerating quite fast. In the past 20 years, it is getting faster and faster. How life 20, 30, 50 years from now, our education, our transport, how do we see it? Well, I think it's one of those things that are quite difficult to predict. What you think of the first control power fight was in 1903 with the White brothers, and then 66 years later, we put the first people on the moon. I mean, if you ask people, say in 1900, what are the odds of landing on the moon, they wouldn't say that it's ridiculous. If you try to talk about them say on the internet, they wouldn't know that what the heck you even. What are you talking about? Like this is so crazy. But today, $100 device you can video foreigns with anyone in the world on the other side of the world. And if you have a Wi-Fi connection, it's basically free. You're free to have instant visual communication with anyone or even with millions of people. In social media, you can communicate to millions of people immediately. So, and you can Google something and ask any question. It's like oracle of wisdom. You can ask almost any question and get instant response. It will difficult to predict this thing in the past, even recent past. I think is for sure. I think directionally, I can tell you what I hope for the future has as opposed to maybe what it will be. This may be just wishful thinking. I mean, I hope we are out there on Mars and maybe beyond Mars, Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system, perhaps for missions nearby the star system. I think one of that is possible in 50 years, and I think it's going to be very exciting to do that. And I think we will see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously, like that actually quite near then. I guess in probably 10 years, it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous. 10 years. I think almost all cars will be able to full autonomy in about 10 years. It is the Tesla cars are made today have a sensor system necessary for full autonomy, and we think probably enough compute power to be safer than a person. So it's mostly just a question to develop a software and upload the software. Is there no compute power needed? We can easily upgrade the computer, and so that all Tesla built in October last year, and other manufacturer will follow and do the same thing. So getting a car will be like getting in an elevator. You just tell where to go and takes you there with extreme level of safety, and that will be normal. That will just be normal. Like elevators, you just to be elevator operators. You get in, you will be go moving a lever and take advantage. So autonomy will be widespread. I think one of the most troubling questions is artificial intelligence. I don't know mean narrow AI, like vehicle autonomy, I would put in the narrow AI class. It's narrowly trying to achieve a certain function. But deep artificial intelligence or what's something called artificial general intelligence where you can have AI that is much smarter than the smallest human on the earth. This I think is a dangerous situation. Why is it dangerous? I mean, there are two views. One view is that artificial intelligence will have humanity, and this other school of thought that artificial intelligence is a threat of humanity. Why is that? I think it's both, you know. One way of thinking is imagine that we are going to be visited. Imagine that you are very confident that we are going to be visited by a super intelligent alliance in, let's say, 10 years or 20 years at the most. Super intelligent. So you think within 20 years we have alien on the earth? Well, digital super intelligence will be like alien. It will be like. But my question is, do you think there's other intelligent life outside the earth? It seems probable. I think this is one of the core questions in physics and philosophy is where are the aliens? Maybe they are among us. I don't know. Some people think I'm an alien. Not true. Maybe we are aliens. I mean, if you look at this part of the world, they believe that human beings are not from Earth. They came from someone else. Eve and Adam came from somewhere else to Earth. So in a way, human beings are aliens to this land. Do you think we'll make contact with aliens within the next 50 years?